What's up, peeps? It's me. I'm back. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's being smart. I hope everybody's staying on code, most importantly. And I hope everybody's paying attention to what's going on around us, because there's a lot going on around us. We got unidentified flying objects being shot down over Canada. We got trains derailing. On February the 3rd, a train derailed in village of East Palestine, setting off evacuation orders. A toxic chemical scare. So we're going to be talking about that. Again, we have all of these food processing plants that are just catching on fire and burning down mysteriously. So, you know, we had the Chinese balloons last week, and now this week we got unidentified flying objects. So it's just a whole lot going on. But the reason why I'm here today, and I'm not going to keep you long, but the reason why I'm here today is because I want to shed light and bring attention to a very serious case. Okay? I want to shed light and bring some attention to a very serious case. Now, this is the case of the young man by the name of Corey Jenkins. And I'm sure y'all have heard a little buzzword about it here or there and all that. There are a lot of people talking about they didn't know whether it was real. They didn't know whether it was another GoFundMe scam, or whether it was somebody trying to ride on the coattails of the tragedy of Tyre Nichols to make money or whatever. But we have found out, as I always believed, I always knew it was true, but we have found out without a doubt that this case is actually true, and that what is being reported has been done to this young man has actually been done to him. But the thing about this is there is no coverage on this story absolutely whatsoever. There is no local coverage of this story. There is no national or international coverage of this story. Same way with the Tyre Nichols situation. If it had not been for the sky cam, we probably never would have known what really happened to Tyre Nichols. If it hadn't been for the video that the attorney put out in the Ahmaud Arbery case, because he thought that that video would actually exonerate the Michaels, had it not been for that, we probably never would have known what happened in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Hello. So this is another one of those cases. This is another one of those cases that had not in this case, had not the victim survived and had not the witness survived, we wouldn't know anything about this. We would not know anything about this. So this case goes to speak to how many of these cases go down in the United States every day that we never know anything about. Even the new black media isn't reporting on this case. Now, from what I understand, Roland Martin has actually done a report on this case, has actually done something on his YouTube, and he actually talked to the family. But see, I don't fool with Roland like that. So I don't know. But that's what's being reported, is that Roland Martin has actually talked to the family. But I just think that we need to shed light on this, and that people need to understand that this case is real, that there's some cover-up, that there's some there's definitely some trying to hide this and trying to sweep this under the rug going on. And of course, this is not the prime time in history for 6 white police officers to be accused of brutalizing 2 black men this way. Because it wasn't just Corey Jenkins. There was also a gentleman with him by the name of Terrell, I believe. And they're not giving out much information about Terrell, because Terrell is the actual witness. So let's get into this case. Let's see what we can find out. Let's see what people are talking about as far as this case is concerned. Now, the only piece of information that I was able to find from any kind of news source whatsoever is this article that's coming out in Jackson Advocate News Service. That's what it is. It's Jackson Advocate News Service, February the 13th, 2023. That's today. And And this isn't specifically, particularly, and singularly about Michael Corey Jenkins, but he is referenced in this article. So let's read this article. It's by Alice Thomas Tisdale, J.A. Publisher, Emirata. Y'all forgive me. I get some of them things mixed up sometimes. Some of them words, yes, I do. A small yet impactful group of concerned citizens from across the state met Tuesday at the courthouse in Indianola, MS, calling for the release of police body cam footage associated with the December 30th, 2022 arrest of Staff Sergeant Kelvin Franklin. So we're talking about another active duty member of the military being arrested and allegedly, according to this, abused. Police brutality. Among the organizations represented were the NAACP, Local Organizing Committee, LOC of Greenville, and the New Black Panther Party. A number of reporters from black broadcast and print media outlets were on hand for a press conference that followed Franklin's court hearing. According to Franklin, he was choked, beaten, and tased in the neck by officers of the Indianola Police Department. Family members present at the scene claim he became unresponsive after the alleged abuse. Franklin, an active duty military member based in Hattiesburg, MS, at Camp Shelby, plans to file an official complaint against the IPD. Charges stemming from the arrest include carrying a concealed weapon and resisting arrest. At Tuesday's press conference, he spoke directly to Indianola Mayor Ken Featherstone about his encounter with his police officers. While not acknowledging any wrongdoing, Featherstone listened attentively to Franklin for some 20 minutes and answered questions by the media. He also informed the group that their request for body cam footage would have to be directed to the city attorney. Angela Buckner, who organized the press conference, was the first journalist to report on Franklin's arrest. She is also covering 2 other alleged police brutality cases in the state. So all of this is happening in Mississippi. You understand what I'm saying? All of this is happening around the same time in Mississippi. And we're not getting any information on it. We're not getting any coverage. We're not getting any local coverage or anything, because this is the first I'm hearing about this active duty military guy, Kelvin Franklin. This is the first I'm hearing about him. Right? But she says there are 2 other cases. Right? The first case involves Michael Corey Jenkins. That's the one that we're going to focus on tonight, whose family is alleging that he was shot in the mouth, choked, tased, beaten, and sodomized while in police custody in Rankin County. They also claim that after he was hospitalized, they have not been permitted to see him or been informed as to why he is in police custody. The second case is Montarian Dotson, who alleges he received bodily harm when he was thrown on a vehicle by Jones County Sheriff Joe Berlin while in a parking lot in Laurel, Mississippi. Dotson has since hired an attorney. And then it says here, for more information, contact Angela Buckner at, they give you the telephone number, and they give you her email address. So this is the only this is the only thing that even resembles coverage of, especially this Michael Corey Jenkins, because this man was actually shot. They actually thought they had killed him. These 2 men were actually tortured, the whole 9 yards. And this is the only thing that I've even seen that's even close to any kind of media coverage. Even the New Black media hasn't covered this story. As far as I know, I haven't seen anybody from the New Black media that I know of that has covered this story yet. So we need to bring light to this story about what happened to Michael Corey Jenkins, okay? Now, the first time I heard about it, I think I was watching a video and somebody in the chat had said something about they just shot somebody in the mouth. The police just shot somebody in the mouth or whatever. Okay, I went looking then, didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. Nobody else said anything about it. Okay, then I actually saw somebody, and I think it was FBA Empress on Twitter, put up some information about it. or she put up a meme or a screenshot about it or something. And I was like, okay, well, let me check into this and see what's really going on. Well, went back, did some searching, and couldn't find out any information, except for there was a handful of YouTube videos about Michael Corey Jenkins, and there was also a slew of stuff on TikTok about him, okay? And I'll have this link down in the description box where you can go to TikTok, and if you put in the hashtag Michael Corey Jenkins, all kinds of stuff comes up. And they say the person to break this was Why Love Yes. And they say she's a YouTuber. They say she has she's big on Instagram. They say she has a whole lot of followers and all of that. And they were questioning why would she break this story, or why would she bring this information out if it was a lie, because a lot of people were saying, like I said, that it was a scam and that it was somebody trying to ride on the coattails of the tragedy of Tyre Nichols and all of that. So she talks about it on TikTok. They actually talk about the press conference, and when they first talk about the press conference, they said that the press conference was supposed to be today, February the 13th. They actually changed the date of the press conference where they're going to talk about this. Michael Corey Jenkins, as well as Kelvin Franklin and another case, I believe. They said that they changed the date of that to February the 15th, which is Wednesday, when they're going to have this press conference at UMMC. This is the University of Mississippi Medical Center. That's where they're actually having the press conference, where MALIK SHABAZZ and the Black Lawyers for Justice organization are actually going to have this press conference. So you see all of this information on TikTok. Like I said, there are a handful of videos out, maybe a few more now. A handful of videos out about this. So I was on I was searching, and the only thing that came up, like I said, was these videos on YouTube. So I clicked one by this chick called True Crimes with Shannon, and she got to talking about the information that she had got about this from a YouTuber at the name of the PASCAL show. So I was like, okay, well, let me go over there and let me see what he's talking about. So I went to the PASCAL show, and I'll have links to all of this stuff down in the description box, so y'all can go listen to these videos and get this information for yourself. Well, he's done 2 videos about Michael Corey Jenkins so far. The first one was he just asking the question because there was no information out there. The family wasn't releasing anything. Nobody was saying anything about it. This was before MALIK SHABAZZ came out and made his video. This is before Roland had the family owned. This is before any of that. And he was just asking the question, okay, is this real? You know, what's really going on here? That was his first video. Well, this second video is now that he's gotten some more information, and he has the same information that we have now, where Malik has actually come out and spoken on this. They've actually changed the date of the video, and if I'm not mistaken, PASCAL actually spoke with the father, Michael Corey Jenkins' father, and the pastor of his church. So the first thing that I want y'all to listen to is this video from Malik SHABAZZ. And you know, Malik SHABAZZ is the attorney that's that was down with the family trying to find the warrant for old girl Carolyn Bryant. And you remember that, and they were going from house to house and all of this, and from place to place trying to find her. Okay, well, that's Malik SHABAZZ. And Malik used to be in tight with Khalid Muhammad back in the day. Okay, so, and he's also a part of this new suit that the Emmett Till family, that his cousins are bringing against the police department down there and everything for not arresting this woman and serving this woman, Kara Bryant, with this warrant once they found it. Okay, so he's a part of that as well, and he works with, from what I understand, he also works with Ben Crump, and he's also a part of this Black Lawyers for Justice organization. So I want you to hear in his own words what he has to say about Michael Corey Jenkins and what really happened that night. The night that Michael Corey Jenkins, along with his witness Terrell, the night that they were handcuffed, tased, beaten, tortured, there was a sexual assault or an attempted sexual assault, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so y'all just listen to this. No, that's not the one I want. Hold on, I pulled up the wrong one. Here it is. So y'all listen.
Mississippi cops torture and shoot Michael Jenkins in the mouth and attempt to murder him while he's handcuffed.
And before we can continue, fair use. I want to evoke the Fair Use Act of 1976, and it will also be it's always in the video, okay? But this is fair use. I'm using this information for educational and commentary purposes only. All right, let's continue.
Folks, policing continues to get incredibly worse. On January 23rd in Rankin County, Mississippi, without showing a warrant, cops burst into a home. 2 black men lay inside, Brother Michael Jenkins and Brother Terrell. They were falsely accused by these 6 white officers of dating white women and selling drugs. And that.
Okay, let's stop right there. So he's confirming, or he's confirming that they were 6 white officers against these 2 black men, right? Well, at this point, we assume that Terrell is black. Based on the name and based on the association and based on what what he just said, the police officers accused them of. So we're talking about 6 police officers, allegedly 2 black men. You understand what I'm saying? And allegedly they accused these 2 black men of dating white women, and selling drugs. Right? Tyre Nichols was also in a relationship with a white girl. You understand what I'm saying? And they had a young child. There's a video going around now that we'll talk about a young black man who was in the car with his white girlfriend, and she was stopped for some alleged traffic violation or whatever. They go around messing with him, asking for him to show ID and all of this. He telling them, no, based on the law, if it's a traffic violation, I'm not the driver, so I don't have to show ID. They physically abuse him, pull him out of the car. Three police officers yank him and drag him out of the car, and they arrest him. She was not arrested, but she was the driver of the car, and the alleged reason for the stop was a traffic violation. But again, he's with a white girl. This is his white girlfriend. Okay? Remember, Emmett Till was kidnapped, tortured, beaten, and murdered because allegedly he whistled at Carolyn Bryant, a white woman. So it seems like the common denominator in all of this that I just said, that running thread, that common denominator is white women. Okay, let's keep going.
That wasn't true. The 2 were immediately subdued and handcuffed in the residence. But instead of taking the handcuffed men into immediate custody for their alleged crime, the 6 white cops decided they would hold the men hostage and terrorize them for nearly 2 hours inside the home. While the men were handcuffed and bound, these 6 Rankin County white cops beat the men while they were handcuffed, tased the men repeatedly while they were handcuffed, punched, slapped, and beat the men while they were handcuffed, And incredibly, the white officers used waterboarding tactics in this raid. I'm talking about waterboarding. Waterboarding is when you have a person in your custody and you pour water or liquid all over their faces while they're on their back, so that the person you have in custody will believe they will drown and confess something to you.
Waterboarding. This is where the torture comes from. This is where the allegations of torture come from the waterboarding. And you will hear further down in this video where the father of Michael Corey Jenkins actually confirms that this process, this torture tactic of waterboarding was used, but they didn't actually use water. They actually used milk. Okay? Let's continue.
This technique was outlawed by the U.S. military when they illegally used it in Iraq. Then in the course of this torture and physical abuse and humiliation, Rankin County sheriffs were both putting guns to both men's heads, threatening to kill them while handcuffed. Then tragedy struck when one of the sheriffs shot Michael Jenkins in the mouth. Yes, the cop shot Michael in his mouth, almost killing him, causing him life-threatening injuries, and Michael is in ICU and had to have his tongue removed from his mouth.
Now, based on what you'll hear a little bit later, the father said that Malik kind of got that a little twisted. When he was shot, the bullet actually caused his tongue to be severed, and it almost completely severed his tongue from his mouth. Right? Almost completely severed his tongue. And what happened was, when he went to the hospital, they had to sew his tongue back on. So that's actually what happened. He didn't lose his tongue. He got it. But they had to sew it back because the bullet almost completely severed his tongue from his mouth.
Now, Michael and his family are decent folks. Black Lawyers for Justice and myself will be at the University of Mississippi Medical Center Wednesday, February 13th in Jackson, Mississippi.
So see where they changed the date? They changed the date from February the 13th, which would have been today, to Wednesday at 3 o'clock at UMMC, the University of Mississippi Medical Center.
At 3 p.m. to announce strong legal action in this case. We demand that all the officers who shot and tried to kill Michael be charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault. We demand all officers who participated in this be charged with murder and conspiracy and criminal civil rights violations.
He overspoke right there too, because unless Terrell died, Michael is living. So unless Terrell died, he didn't mean murder. He meant attempted murder. That they be charged with attempted murder in this case. Because as we know of so far, nobody has actually died. Okay?
Demand the body camera footage now. We want all the reports now. We have a devastating civil rights lawsuit against the county and all of these officers in their individual and official capacity. The lawsuit is imminent. Justice for Michael Jenkins. Justice for Brother Terrell. We'll see you Wednesday in Mississippi on behalf of Michael Jenkins, on behalf of Black Lawyers for Justice. Mississippi cops.
Now, that's it. That's what Malik SHABAZZ, the attorney, that's what he put out on his Instagram page. Okay? That's what he put out on his Instagram page. You guys hold on for just a minute. So yeah, you guys, that was attorney Malik SHABAZZ talking about what's going on, and finally putting it out there what's going on with Michael Corey Jenkins. And I honestly believe that the reason why they have been so slow as far as putting any information out there is because they are trying to protect the lives of not only Michael Corey Jenkins, but also this witness, this Terrell person, okay? So I think that's the reason why they've been so slow about putting information out and all of that, because they know who they're dealing with, they know where they are, and from all sources that I have heard, this Rankin County is real racist. It's real racist, that this kind of stuff goes down all the time. So, you know, they have to be very, very careful. They have to be careful. They don't want these folks to know anything about maybe where Terrell is. You know what I'm saying? Michael is right there in the hospital, so they've got to be careful about making sure that he's protected and all of this. So it's a lot going on there. But now let's get into talking about the fundraiser, because there's been information that the parents couldn't see, and that's exactly what was going on. When he was first taken to the hospital, he was taken to the hospital in police custody. Michael Corey Jenkins was taken to the hospital in police custody. But you'll hear, well, I mean, in the video that I'm going to link in the description box, PASCAL talks about how they urged the family to post bond for him because the city didn't want to be responsible for his hospital bill. So that's the reason why eventually they let the family come on in and they let the family see him. But at first he was in the custody, in the hospital. He was in the custody of the Rankin County Sheriff, and they wouldn't let his family or anybody see him. The mama says the same police department that shot my son in the mouth is guarding him every day, so he has to look at the people who shot him. He was in ICU where he was being watched. Now he's in a room with a Rankin County police in the room with him, and there's no way for anybody to see him, and I'm concerned for my son's life that something may happen to him. She did an update. This is on the GoFundMe, and that'll be linked in the description box as well. She did a GoFundMe on February the 7th update. I just want to thank each and every one of you who have supported my son through this trying time. We were finally able to see Michael, and we were able to get the police out of his room. We still have a very long road to recovery, but we ask that you all please continue to pray to keep us in your prayers. Right? So that's the only reason why they released him out on bond. And from based on what we understand, based on what the information is that's coming to us, we still don't know what this young man has been charged with. We still don't know what either one of these young men have been charged with, because you just heard Attorney MALIK say that the police went in and accused them of dating white women and selling drugs. And there's actually a video on the TikTok. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Might not be on the TikTok. Okay, it might not be on the TikTok. Let's see if it's on. No, it's not on his Instagram either. But in the videos, in the two videos that I'm gonna link from the PASCAL show, there's actually a video of the mother standing outside of the UMMC, the University of Mississippi Medical Center, where she says that they don't say what the charges are. She still doesn't know what her son was supposed to be charged with. Okay, so now let's go over here to the PASCAL show, and I want y'all to listen to a little bit of what PASCAL has to say about the conversation that he had with the pastor and Michael Corey Jenkins' dad. Okay, so like I said, all of this information will be listed down in the description box. So let's listen to this.
I'm going to skip over to the conversation that I had with Melvin Jenkins, the father. And I'm hoping that very soon I will be getting an exclusive interview with the family and possibly with MALIK SHABAZZ as well. I'm hoping that happens soon. But just so you know, because some people are maybe trying to say that this isn't true, that this isn't real, why would MALIK Zulu SHABAZZ go onto his Instagram, go and do a press conference if this was not real? This would tarnish his career for him to come up and just spread this as fake, if this is fake news. Also, Roland Martin. Roland Martin, it has now officially, as of a day ago, covered this story. So clearly, Roland Martin even interviewed the family. So clearly they've done their due diligence as well. Their background checks, their deep dives into this to find out that this story is real. But let me tell you some details that I received from the family and from the pastor. The pastor basically echoed the same thing that the father said. So that night, that Wednesday night, they were in their house. Michael and his friend Terrell were in a house. Cops bust into the house as a drug raid. They claimed that Michael had a gun. According to Terrell, the witness, he did not have a gun. But they proceeded to beat them. And as MALIK said, torture these two young men. They handcuffed them and did all these crazy things. One of them that they did, aside from kicking them and beating them with their own fists, they waterboarded them. But they waterboarded them with milk. Not with water, but with milk. They took out eggs from the refrigerator and started smashing, throwing, they started egging them, these young men. Then they decided to pull out their tasers and start tasing them. All because...
So basically, for a space of almost 2 hours, they just enjoyed themselves with these two young black men. I mean, just everything sadistic and everything savage and everything brutal that they could come up with, they came up with it. And probably because of the reputation of the Rankin County Sheriff's Department, they weren't concerned about anybody saying anything or anybody ever finding out anything about this. And then, of course, eventually they shot Corey Jenkins in the mouth. So, you know, you shoot him in the mouth, he ain't gonna say nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Come on now. We know from the mob and from gang violence and all of that, that when you shoot somebody in the mouth, that's sending a message. Be quiet. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. So they shoot him in the mouth, thinking, okay, well, he ain't gonna say nothing, and old boy Terrell gonna be so scared, he know better than to say anything. And evidently somebody is scared because there has been no media, no local media coverage of this. Let's continue.
They say that Michael had a gun, but he never did. Allegedly. I have to say allegedly, according to what the witness said. Tased them repeatedly. And from what I understand, Michael was passed out from all the tasing and the beating and the waterboarding and all that. That one of the cops took their weapon, pulled the trigger in this man's mouth, and that's what woke him up. Because they thought that maybe he was gone. They pulled the trigger, and apparently it woke him up when they pulled the trigger in his mouth. Okay? Now, it severely severed, almost completely severed his tongue. Almost completely off. This bullet. So when he went to the hospital, they had to sew his tongue back on. So he didn't lose his tongue. That's one part that Malik does not have correct. They didn't remove his tongue. Okay? They reattached his tongue.
Now understand, right here, PASCAL is talking about the information that he actually got from the father, from Melvin Jenkins, who is Michael Corey Jenkins' father. So he has actually talked to the family, and he got this information. So this is where the correction is as far as Malik is concerned. Okay?
Right now, and this photo really is Michael. Hold on. Now this isn't the best quality photo, but you can see that Michael, his jaw is completely sewn shut, wired shut right now because of what happened to his tongue. He apparently
He's showing a picture of just Michael laying in the bed. It's the same picture that you'll see in this video where it's adjacent to Malik talking about it. You'll see this picture of Michael in the video with his thumbs up.
swallowed a lot of blood, so he's having some issues because it got into his lungs and whatnot. And he has a long recovery ahead of him to get back into fighting shape. Now, one piece I did ask them because I wanted to know more of the truth of what happened to this young man, why this happened to him, and whatnot. I asked them the main thing, because there's a part that everyone keeps on talking about, how this young...
Listen, people. Listen very carefully. Listen very, 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 very carefully. And understand what Tariq Nasheed was talking about in buck breaking. Listen very carefully. With all the stories that have come out about the police officers that have sexually assaulted these young black men, and all of these searches that are being done in public, where these young black men are being violated, and all of this kind. Listen very carefully.
Young man was SA'd.
SA'd
by
means
these cops.
SA'd is his code word for sexually assaulted. He's just not saying it on YouTube. But SA'd is his code word, PASCAL, his code word for sexually assaulted.
Not only was he brutalized with various things, humiliated, they used milk on him, they egged him and his friend. They tried to SA him. The story out here is saying that he was SA'd. Okay? S-A. Alright? I gotta use those code words. But in reality, in truth, they attempted to SA him, but didn't all go through with it all the way.
So they also have an attempted sexual assault charge against them. That's what they need to have. So he's admitting here that this is from his conversation with the father, that they didn't actually get a chance to go through with it, but they attempted to sexually assault this young man, Michael Corey Jenkins. They, after all of this, after beating him, tasing him, shooting him, the torture with the waterboarding, throwing eggs on him and all of that, they attempted to sexually assault him. They attempted to sodomize this young black man.
So, this is the information that I have received. This is the information that I had in very lengthy conversations with the families, or with the family, and with the pastor of the church that he played drums in, okay? This is very much a true story. This is very much a real story of a young man who is being alleged of doing something that he may not have done. And regardless if he aimed at the police or even had a weapon on him, there is no way he deserves any type of treatment like he got. We ain't in Iraq. We ain't out here. He is not a war criminal. Okay, he wasn't plotting some huge thing where, something was, some explosive was about to go off in some huge public place. There was no reason for this young man to receive any type of treatment like this at all. And yeah, when I say SA, I mean this. Right down there. Okay? That's what I mean.
I took a screenshot of that so you'll see it in the comments, so you'll understand that when he says SA.
And now you see someone like MALIK.
When he says SA, he's talking about sexual assault. So with everything else that they did to this young man, Corey Jenkins, with everything else that they did to him, they attempted to sodomize him, to rape him. Let's be honest. They attempted to rape this man. Now when, I'm not sure. They're not saying. We don't know whether it's before he passed out or once they woke him back up or whatever. But not only did they attempt to kill him, they also attempted to sexually assault him. Okay? Now, like I said, the two PASCAL, the PASCAL show, the two videos from them will be linked in the description box, as well as all of this other information. But I just wanted to bring this information to you to let you know that this is real. And what's scary is that nothing is being reported about it. In no local news media, in no national news media, in no internet, nothing is being reported. That's the scary part. And the new black media is not, as of now, saying anything about it. So let me be the first. Because I consider myself a part of the new black media. I don't care how small my channel may be or whatever the case may be. I consider myself a part of the new black media. So let me be the first to report on this and to let you know that this is real. And this is how sadistic and demonic and evil these folks are, as far as the police are concerned. He just happened to survive. But they didn't mean for him to survive and talk. That's the reason why he was shot in his mouth. So I just wanted to bring y'all this information on Corey Jenkins. And we've got to support MALIK SHABAZZ. We've got to support the black lawyers for justice in this situation. We've got to let them know that we have their support. We've got to let the family know that as the black grassroots, we have their support. Now, before I end this video, I want to move on to some more information as far as Tyre Nichols is concerned, since this case is kind of similar, not similar, but kind of similar to the Tyre Nichols murder. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of update information as far as the Tyre Nichols situation is concerned. Now, this is coming from The Hill, February the 10th, 2023, by Cheyenne M. Daniels. Family of Tyre Nichols files urgent appeal with United Nations. The family of Tyre Nichols has filed an urgent appeal to the United Nations requesting action regarding the torture and extrajudicial killing of Nichols. Today, we filed an urgent appeal before the United Nations asking it to condemn the tragic killing of Tyre Nichols, to demand transparency from the police department, and to demand that Officer Preston Hemphill and all officers that participated in the incident are criminally charged, attorneys for the family said in a statement. So this family has now moved this thing up to the United Nations. They have now moved it up to the United Nations. Okay? So we got the family of Emmett Till, who have moved that thing up to filing a lawsuit against the police department and all of that, because they never would serve this warrant on Carolyn Bryant. Now we have Tyre Nichols' family going to the United Nations. Okay? The video evidence shows that all who were involved in Tyre's death committed reprehensible acts that require international condemnation, they continue. And in a few minutes, you'll find out exactly how this white officer, Preston Hemphill, how he was pivotal in the violence that ensued towards Tyre at that second stop. Right? According to the United Nations, urgent appeals are used to seek intervention to cease the violation of loss of life, life-threatening situations, or imminent or ongoing damage of a grave nature. The goal is to ensure state authorities intervene or prevent a human rights violation as quickly as possible. Nichols, 29, was stopped for an alleged traffic violation on January the 7th. Video footage of the stop showed officers approach Nichols' car and attempt to pull him from the vehicle before they proceeded to beat him. Nichols escaped and ran from the scene, only to be caught by 5 police officers soon after and brutally beaten with batons, kicked, and punched. He was transported to the hospital after the beating, where he died 3 days later. Then they list the name of the 5 black police officers, of course, and what they have been charged with. The Memphis Police Department later identified Preston Hemphill as one of the responding officers at the initial stop, and his lawyer acknowledged that some of the footage released to the public was from Hemphill's body camera, and he was fired on January the 30th. The department has since said a 7th officer was relieved of duty, and more are under investigation. The additional officers have not been identified. Okay, now I'm waiting for it to come up, y'all. Come on. This is the APnews.com. Yeah, there we go. This is APnews.com. This is February the 9th. Travis Lawler and Adrian Sands. February 9th, 2023. Officer drew gun as he approached Tyre Nichols. Report finds. Memphis, Tennessee, AP. One of 3 Memphis police officers who initially detained Tyre Nichols last month has admitted he did not witness the alleged reckless driving that was the justification for pulling over Nichols, but still approached his car while brandishing his gun, according to police documents seeking to bar him from working in law enforcement. That January 7th traffic stop quickly escalated into a beating, and Nichols died 3 days later. Officer Preston Hemphill, this is the white officer, his own body camera showed that from the very beginning of the traffic stop, he and 2 other officers approached Nichols with force that was disproportionate for the alleged offense of reckless driving. So if we already know this, then why has not Hip Hill been charged with something? Because two of the officers that were with Hip Hill became part of the Memphis 5. The 5 officers that were fired and charged. Officer Preston Hip Hill's own body camera showed that from the very beginning of the traffic stop, he and 2 other officers approached Nichols with force that was disproportionate for the alleged offense of reckless driving, according to a statement from the disciplinary hearing that took place before he was fired. Hip Hill was fired last week, but has not been charged for his role in Nichols' beating and arrest, which has sparked widespread outrage and reignited a national discussion of police brutality amongst black people. 5 other officers who are black and were caught on video plummeting Nichols with their fists, feet, and a baton have been charged with murder and other offenses. Let me get rid of all these things. Hip Hill did not take part in the second, more violent encounter, which took place after Nichols ran from police. But the documents highlight that he was heard on his body camera telling his partner, "I hope they stomp his ass." The information about Hip Hill's actions is contained in supporting documents attached to a Wednesday request from Memphis Police Chief Saralyn C.J. Davis to strip Hip Hill, who is white, of his police certification so that he could not work in law enforcement again. Hip Hill's lawyer did not immediately comment Thursday because he had not fully read the document. So instead of talking about bringing charges against him and punishing him, this mammy talking about stripping him of certification so that he can't work in law enforcement again. Okay, well, he needs that along with charges being brought against him, because he is a part of that first initial stop where the violence began. And he is also partly responsible for escalating the violence at the second stop. The documents help create a fuller picture of the initial encounter with the 29-year-old Nichols that involved Hip Hill, Demetrius Haley, and Emmett Martin III. So see, those 2 were with Hip Hill at the initial stop. Haley and Martin were fired last month and charged, along with Tadarius Bean, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith. The police chief has said she saw no justification in video of the incident for pulling Nichols over in the first place. Meanwhile, the office of the top prosecutor in Memphis said in a statement Thursday that it will review all previous cases, closed and pending, of just the 5 officers. So again, they're trying to center around these 5 officers and act like anybody else that was involved didn't have anything to do with it. But Hip Hill, the white officer, was clearly using excessive force and violence along with the rest of them in the initial stop. Okay? So now let's move on. Now this is coming from WREG.com. News Channel 3 in Memphis. Officer who used taser on Tyre Nichols lied in statements, records allege. Preston Hip Hill, the 6th Memphis police officer fired in the Tyre Nichols investigation, lied in his statements after the deadly traffic stop, according to records submitted to the state. In files submitted after a disciplinary hearing, Hip Hill admitted that while Nichols was pulled over for allegedly driving recklessly at high speed, Hip Hill never saw the alleged traffic offense. Hip Hill was among the officers involved in the initial traffic stop at Ross and Rains on January 7th and deployed his taser as Nichols tried to get away. Files note that Nichols was not armed, did not initiate physical force or verbal threats, and did not pose an immediate threat. Hip Hill deployed his taser for 3 seconds in the middle of traffic on a fleeing subject in violation of policy, the document states. No, he tased him while he was on the ground. He actually tased this young man. He actually tased Tyre while he was on the ground. We see it in the video. So I don't know who they... y'all don't believe your lying eyes. That's the reason why bruh got up and started running. Hip Hill also stated that Nichols attempted to grab another officer's gun, but records note no video evidence was found to corroborate this. Hip Hill told superiors that Nichols was fighting, but video evidence instead shows Nichols running away as officers tried to grab him. Hip Hill was relieved of duty on January 8th and terminated on February 3rd. MPD has sent a request to a state board to have Hip Hill decertified. Hip Hill has not been charged criminally in the incident. 5 other officers, we're not going to talk about them no more because we done talked about them enough. It's time for some other people to get charges. Now, there was an article came out, a report that came out that actually 8 other officers were being charged as far as violation of policy, of departmental policy and all of that. But they didn't receive any criminal charges as well. So as we stand right now, nobody but these 5 black officers have received any criminal charges, although we clearly see that Hip Hill used excessive force. He tased the man. He was the one that initiated the violence at the first stop. But there are still no criminal charges against him. So I just wanted to bring you this update of what's going on with Tyre Nichols, that his family has actually filed an urgent appeal with the United Nations, that it has come out that Hip Hill just basically lied on all of his police reports concerning this incident with Tyre Nichols. But I mean, now why that doesn't bring about criminal charges of perjury, at least, I have no idea. At least criminal charges for perjury. But I just wanted to bring you this latest information. Yes, it is being said that it's no rumor that one of the black police officers was actually sending out pictures of Tyre Nichols as he lay beaten and dying on the ground. Yes, it's been reported that that's true, that he was sending out pictures, that he was whether texting or whatever, people pictures of Tyre Nichols in that position. But I just wanted to bring y'all this latest information as far as Tyre is concerned. I wanted to let y'all know exactly what's going on as far as Michael Corey Jenkins is concerned. All of this information, of course, will be linked down in the description box. So y'all get down in there. Let's show our support for Michael Corey Jenkins. Let's show our support for the family. The GoFundMe will also be listed down in the description box. Let's show our support for attorney MALIK SHABAZZ and the Black Attorneys for Justice. We have also got to find a way to get them involved in what's going on with the black rancher Courtney Mallory in Colorado. We've got to figure out a way to get them involved in that as well before that becomes something that it does not need to become. Okay, but please, y'all, I need y'all to come in. I need y'all to like this video. I definitely need you to share this video, share this information on all social media. Let everybody know what's going on. Let everybody know that this Michael Corey Jenkins case is real. It ain't no scam. It ain't no mess. This is real. And this is what they did to this young man. Not only did they take these two young men and handcuff them, beat them, tase them, torture them with waterboarding, shot Michael in the mouth, almost severing his tongue and all of that. But they also attempted to rape, attempted to sexually assault Michael Corey Jenkins. So this information needs to get out there. I urge other members of the New Black Media to get this story and report on this story so that everybody can know what's going on, so that we can offer our support, so we can offer our donations to the family, whatever is needed for this. Okay? So, like I said, y'all make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Hit that subscribe button so you can subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we upload videos. All of this information, along with the GoFundMe for this family, as well as the information that showing how you can support this channel, is also down in the description box. So, please, y'all share this. Please have this conversation. Please let these people, and the fact that no media, except for that one little article that I just read to y'all, no media is reporting on this. Just a handful of YouTube videos and all of this information on TikTok. That's it. So we got to get this out there. We got to get it out there. So, y'all, please, keep your head on swivel. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Keep your power tools at the ready. Please stay on code. Stay safe. Be smart. Share this information. And I will be back with you guys real soon. Have a good one.